Hello, welcome to this week's episode of Hollywood Matrimony Live. Thank you so much for watching us live on Facebook and YouTube. Don't forget to go find us on the Twitter and the Instagram at Hollywood Matrimony. And the most important thing you need to do is go check out our website, hollywoodmatrimony.com. You'll find all the latest information. This man right here works hard to put stuff up every single day. And if you go to the contest button, that's where you find all the good free stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, babe.
Hey, dear.
How you doing?
I'm tired.
Are ya?
It's been
Look,
a day.
it says we're live because I subscribe to our channel.
It's been a long day.
It has been a
Between
long
classes
day.
and mowing the lawns and 800 degree heat.
Well, we're in Texas, so it's not really 800. It's probably like 100. Let's just be realistic.
Well, I did it at 9 this morning so that it was 800 degrees instead of the 1,000 degrees it is in the afternoon.
It is never that hot. It's 100, maybe.
I walked outside and my face caught on fire. I'm not exaggerating. My face was literally on fire.
Fire, 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 fire.
Oh, don't do that.
What?
That's how people get in
Sure. Why? That's from the great. Fire. Fire. Fire.
What is happening? Okay.
I was working the job.
Thanks, weirdo.
Anyways, okay, let me get back to you. Here we go, where we need to be. I have shared, I have told people. All right. We have, as always, a plethora of movies. Maybe it's not a plethora, but we just always have a good variety.
We have 5.
No, but it's a good variety, which is what I appreciate about our show in particular.
Okay.
I've seen some other shows, and by the way,
Good shows.
I know I've
dare you
checked
watch
them
other
out.
shows.
But you know what? There was this one show, and I wanted to hear his review about something, but it was one of those where you can tell he's at his little desk because it felt little. Like he had the hangy boom mic, which I appreciate because they're probably podcasting and videoing at the same time. So they have the great mic, but his camera's like right here. And so all I see is microphone here and like half a head and the bookshelf right behind
I will
it.
say this, in our future, and I'm talking years from now probably, we do have a plan to eventually have a more professional, dedicated studio. And when I say professional, probably more of the microphone setups, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
The rest of us will be the same crap. We're not. We don't care enough for
We
fancy.
have plans, my friends. We have plans.
But if those plans don't come together, then this will be it.
Yeah.
And we're just fine with that.
And I figured out a way, I think, to make your plan happen and my plan for what I wanted, a special room in the house.
Oh,
I think it's all going to come together because I have ideas.
She has a lot of ideas that involve her not doing anything, me doing a lot of things, and none of it ever finishes.
Sounds like we're going to have to hire some contractors.
All right, moving on.
Well, welcome to today's show. All right. What do you want to talk about first? Because we have a strange variety of things, and I'm not even set up to share my screen yet.
Well, why don't you get that done so we can talk about it? So we do. You may notice, but you can't see very well, so let me move my computer a little bit here so you can see it. I'm wearing my Kumite shirt today, and I'm wearing it for a reason that we'll discuss in a minute. But I want to point out, while you're getting everything ready, it's been a weird, nostalgic feeling the last few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Because, well, it's actually been months/years at this point, but it's weird, like going to the stores, and I'm starting to see the same toys on the shelf from my childhood. Like He-Man figures, G.I. Joe figures,
because that
Mego figures and stuff. Yeah, so like I posted on Facebook last week about how weird it was that last week I was sitting watching all new episodes of He-Man.
Yeah.
This week I'm sitting and watching all new episodes of Transformers. And get a whole brand new Jean-Claude Van Damme movie. And it's like everything's coming full circle. It's like bell-bottom pants all over again, where they left and they came back.
You know what? People are kind of wearing, like, they're not bell bottoms, they're like flare jeans, but they're high.
Boot cut.
Well, that's still a thing, but people are wearing like high water flary jeans, and I don't get that, ladies. I mean, there's some of these
fashions that weren't good when they came out the first time.
Yeah. Well, I'm wearing my Planet of the Apes shirt, which you probably see.
Don't get confused
Dr.
about
Zayas pin.
It's funny because we have a hat, and we have shirts that are similar. It's like the hat stuff, the Purge.
The Purge red hat.
Yeah, but it looks like the Make America Great Again.
It's over there.
It's like Make the Purge something.
Yeah, Purge.
And then like this one says Make America Ape Again.
It's ape.
So it's funny when all the big controversies of Trump's and whatever your beliefs are, you get the double take.
Yeah.
You know, I keep planning to wear this shirt to one of my classes because we have a couple of Trump people that always have their.
No.
So I want to wear it just so it's.
Yeah. Sorry.
Whatever.
Don't want to get political.
We're not going to talk about Trump today because it's nothing to do with this show today.
No, we're going to talk about happy things.
Well,
all right.
Maybe. So we've got a variety. We've got martial arts, we got horror, we got vampires, we got adventure.
Yeah.
We've got child abuse. We have everything you need to hear about.
Everything you ever want.
We got to hear about on the show this week. So where would you like to go? There's only one thing here that you didn't watch. Everything else we both saw.
Do you wanna go here first?
Whatever you'd like to do.
Do you have the things you can show?
I do not.
Because
it's in there.
Well,
but it's okay. We don't.
But you got the other thing, so it's okay. Yeah. All right, we're gonna start with, I guess, what a lot of people can be considered a classic.
It is. It is a classic.
Film.
It won, I believe, a bunch of Academy Awards, or at least she did. I think.
Did you write anything?
I have not done the review yet. I was in the process. I have not finished it, but it's part of the Paramount Presents collection, which we've shown on here numerous times. Which they're just re-releasing a lot of their catalog. It's a normal Blu-ray, but then has a flip cover that has the original poster on the inside with the front having a new cover on it. And we're talking about the 1981. To me, this is almost a horror film. But it's the movie Mommie Dearest, starring Faye Dunaway, which is the story of Joan Crawford, but from the perspective of Christina Crawford. Is it Christine or Christina?
Christina.
Okay, yeah, she's called Tina. Christina Crawford's perspective based on the book she wrote about the abuse she endured from Joan Crawford, who at the time was, well, even now is arguably one of the greatest film actresses of all time in the way Hollywood looks at her.
Yes. So at that time, she was considered like Hollywood royalty.
Yes.
She was one of those types of people.
So that is the reason we're diving into this movie. I know it's an old film, but because it's
part of
one
that,
of those, it is already available on Blu-ray on this new Blu-ray release. They sent it to us later. I would like to. We did post this on Instagram, but just so you can see it, which you cannot see it in the camera, so I'll have to bring it down here.
Shoot.
I'm looking because of the other things on here, but it's okay. I'll bring it down. Promotions, the studios sometimes send really clever promotions. So, like for instance, when we got Batman Long Halloween Part 1, they sent a box with Halloween candies and a calendar countdown based because there's
how many days until Halloween.
And it's got the calendar killer.
And it's got pumpkin stencils.
Yeah, it had all kind of Halloween themed stuff as well as a calendar because of holiday killer.
Yeah,
when we did Noah, it came with like a little wooden crate thing that had Noah on it, and
that would have been the Ark, babe.
I'm saying what it came with. It didn't come with the Ark, stupid.
It did. It was a little.
It came with a wooden box.
That's how the Ark they built in that movie.
It's a box.
I know.
In the movie, they didn't build a box. They built an Ark. It was a boat.
Okay.
Did you watch the movie?
I did watch it.
It wasn't a square box.
And I had problems with that movie because it's not biblically correct. But that's okay.
You want to hear an argument about that movie? Is people say, my problem with this Noah movie is that it's not factually accurate.
Correct.
There's no facts to it.
There is source material, babe. It's called the BIBLE.
That is not a factual thing. That is the storyline in here. Yes, I'm not arguing that the Ark exists, but that is not a factual document. That is a faith-based document.
It is a factual document. It requires faith to accept it. Move
if it's
on.
facts, it doesn't require faith.
You know what? The facts of life. Boom.
She is Tootie. Anyway, so they sent the greatest thing ever. They sent this wire hanger with that says no wire hangers ever. Mommie Dearest, newly restored. It's for its 40th anniversary. Cult classic debuts on Blu-ray on June 1st.
That's funny.
So it's literally just
hilarious.
I opened the box. Look, why is this big ass box for just one Blu-ray? And then it had this big hanger. And this is the hanger I'll be keeping. And not only do we keep it, it's hanging. You can't see it really, but it's hanging on Jason's hand next to his machete, prepared to beat somebody over the head with a wire hanger.
Because that happened.
So
in the movie.
So anyway, had you ever seen this movie at all?
I think I had, but like on TV. With where they did like cuts and commercials and stuff. So I don't know if I got.
Thank you.
But back in the day. So I think I did somehow.
I honestly,
but I didn't remember a whole lot of it.
I honestly, when we went to watch it, I'm like, I remember watching this movie and kind of being horrified by her behavior and thinking, is that okay? But once I watched that, I realized I don't think I've ever watched this movie all the way through.
I don't think
I think I'd only just seen the big famous sequences with the wire hanger sequence and the Oh, what is the other one?
I remember the pool thing.
No, what is the? There's another one that's really big. Sequence. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
We'll get there.
But yeah, so it actually came across as almost a brand new.
Yeah,
viewing.
It was nice. It was good to watch it, and I did like that we watched it on this newly restored whatever because it looked really clear.
Yeah,
it was nice.
So, what did you think of the movie as a movie in general?
Y'all, I liked this movie. This lady was cray. Now we do have to preface that a lot of people denounce the book and what Christina Crawford wrote. They're like, that never happened. However, I think some people probably saw some stuff because it reminded me of when we watched the movie about Joan Crawford and Betty Davis making the Baby Jane movie.
That was not a movie. That was a TV series.
Oh, what?
Yes.
Okay, yes.
That was an American Hollywood Story or whatever it was.
Yes, because they were so hateful to each other. It's not difficult for me to imagine that carried over into her personal life.
Well, and the fact that she was a germaphobe and
yes, that's
things
true.
like that. That not that germaphobes are crazy, but that puts you in that position to things can drive you crazy.
Like the wire hangers.
Because, her wire hanger wasn't a germ thing. She thought it was
that
beneath.
was just one of those things.
Yeah, but her losing her mind about cleanliness, you can see how things can set you off. That's the beginning of things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, one was batshit crazy.
Yeah, I enjoyed the movie though. I mean, it was over the top.
It's very old Hollywood.
It is,
which I like on some level, but it makes me laugh because there's elements in it that you look at that would, if somebody did some of these things in a movie now, they would be classified as bad acting.
Correct.
But in the older movies,
it was over the top on
that
purpose.
Theatrical, yes. It was just like when you do things on stage,
yes,
you have to overact it. They did that in movies a lot of times, even though you didn't need to see it because the camera could pick up what you thought weren't giving them. Like there's a sequence where a guy is shaking her and he's like, and he's shaking his body with her to overextend how he's shaking her.
So we laughed for a
second.
We were like,
what's he
that
doing?
was not necessary.
Is he all right?
Well, and then even so, we watched some of the commentaries on this new release, which I liked seeing commentaries because the guy's like, I probably should have reined her in. He goes, so next time if I make this movie, I'll rein it in. So they were aware of it, but they were just letting Faye Dunaway do her version.
Not Faye Ray.
Of Joan Crawford. Yeah, we're not with that.
Which that has got to be an exhausting performance.
Yes, because she is
tired.
Like odd and like super heightened sense of just emotion the entire time because
she also bipolar mentality.
Yes.
She goes from being loving and caring to just insane and
so like there was probably something. If the story is exactly the way it played out, she probably did need some sort of medication. The problem is that she drank so much.
She was self-medicating.
Yeah, it would not have helped.
Well, and that's the problem is that also comes into that time period, whether you believe this stuff or not. In that time period, the mentality of what people's problems are not the same as what they have now. Like ADHD and ADD that you have now was you're just being an asshole.
Yes.
Sit down, pay attention, be quiet, or get your butt whooped as a kid. And yes, that's still, I believe today still most of that is what that is.
Yeah.
But there is a lot of people that legitimately have issues, but back then that's not what it was.
Correct.
I think you've mentioned like your brother had issues that were never like dealt with then, but now realize, oh, this is what the problem was.
Yeah, he probably needed whatever they gave you for ADD.
Yeah. Whereas like
that's why he struggled.
This sounds weird, but
because he couldn't focus
like
on
my
it.
feet, for instance, my feet sit like this, and I stand on the sides of my feet.
You needed some of those Forrest Gump braces.
My mom said I needed braces, but she didn't want to put me in braces, so she would hold my feet flat while I was learning to walk. So now,
well, you still don't walk like that,
huh?
You still don't walk like that. You still walk funky.
No, I don't walk funky.
You don't walk
I walk
like this,
normally.
you walk kind of like this.
I walk normally, but I'll tell you what, I got an awesome sidekick because my foot can turn fully flat because of it. So
there you go. Anyhow, this movie kind of just documents from the time she adopted these children. So I think I read she adopted like a total of 4 kids or 5 kids, and then 1 was taken back by the.
Yeah, in this movie you only deal with 2.
The 2 oldest, and then later we have 2 young ones. So we're dealing with the 2 older ones.
And really only the girl.
Really, yeah. And
the boy is almost second nature.
Well, because he's just very busy being strapped down to his bed, so he can't move.
Which is they don't really talk about it much.
No, I looked it up.
No, I know, but when you first see it, it's kind of unnerving because they're putting him in bed and they're like locking him. He's not like being strapped down like a hospital like this, but he's got a harness and they're hooks and they're pinning him down. And I'm like, I didn't think about the fact that it was a sleepwalking situation. Yeah. I just assumed it was a different form of abuse at the time.
I mean, it could have been. It's probably a little bit abusive, but so it deals essentially with supposed abuse of her daughter. There was the wire hanger incident where she beat her with the wire hanger. She made her scrub the floors. She cut her hair because she put stuff in her hair. She would make her practice her swimming and diving to the point where this poor kid was exhausted. I was worried she was going to like drown in the pool. She was so tired. And then everyone that this lady dated became her uncle. And if they got married, she had to call them daddy, which is odd.
Yeah, there's an awkward moment where like she comes home from school because she got sent into boarding school. She comes home from school, sees her mom for the first time in God knows how long.
Yeah, a couple of years.
And the first thing her mom says is, "Oh, I want you to meet Al." I think that's who it was. Yeah. And she's like, "Oh, what do I call him?" She goes, "Well, what would you call your father?" And you're like, she's never met this guy. She didn't even. I don't even know if she knew she'd married him.
I don't know. She wasn't there.
She acted like she was like.
Yeah, she wasn't there.
But there was no greeting. So, and then there's these other weird scenes where
then she walks over and she's like, "Hi, Daddy. I'm Christina."
Yeah, there was definitely like a Stockholm syndrome situation with Christina.
Yes, because
she
loved
always
her. She wanted to
her.
Make her happy.
Yeah.
But then the lady didn't. She got jealous of her at sometimes, and sometimes she didn't want her there, but sometimes she needed her there. She's like, "All I ever wanted to do was love a child," and it was like that. It was crazy. This movie's crazy.
It holds up really well, despite. I mean, it's visually dated, but it's also a movie that's a period piece, if you will, because it takes place, what, in the 30s or 50s or something? Is it the 30s?
I'm going to say 30s. 50s. I don't know. 50s.
Probably. 30s, I believe. If you look at her, right. Hold on, I have it sitting right here. It was 1939.
Oh, okay.
Is when the movie takes place.
There you go.
It came out in 1981. But yeah, it's a great movie if you've never seen it. I do think it's a movie that everybody should see.
Yeah, it's pretty classic.
But it is a child abuse movie.
It really is. I mean,
whether it's true or not, it's an uncomfortable movie to watch.
I suspect it really happened.
I'm sure it did too, but
because
it is an uncomfortable movie to watch because
a lot.
It's very much like a horror film because you're sitting on edge because you never know when she's going to freak out. Especially when everybody's getting along is the most terrifying moment.
Yeah, I think she was obviously bipolar. At this point in her career, she was also getting older, and you know what they do typically when you're an older actress in Hollywood. They either ignore you or they give you crap scripts.
And she started becoming difficult.
Yes, and so at one point she gets dropped from MGM, and she's like, "You can't drop me." And they're like, "Yeah, we can. You haven't made any box office numbers."
And he was heartberoken by it. You could see
on our last 3 pictures. But then she's like, "Well, will you at least walk me to my car?" And he's like, "Mm-mm." And she's like, "But I'm Hollywood royalty." I mean, that's where we're at. So then she goes home and drinks herself to death almost. Yeah. And then she gets picked up by another studio, and then they drop her too.
One of the things that
so dramatic.
It's sad, but I appreciate about the movie is this is not a movie trying to justify anything for Joan Crawford. This is clearly, and I guarantee this is why a lot of people argue, because a lot of these kind of things that happen behind the scenes and you never want to believe about your favorite actors or athletes or friends and family that everything looked perfect and you find out there's abuse or there's situations is usually there's someone to come forward to try to explain the good parts. And in this movie, it very much comes from a disgruntled place from her book. Yeah. And I found it interesting where even though you get moments of her being pleasant and showing some love that you almost buy into it sometimes, like she really does love her, but she doesn't know how to deal with this. But then she goes this other side and she goes, okay, she's just crazy. Mm-hmm. And it does make you wonder, because of them being cut out of the will and everything else, was not only how much really happened, but how much of it was also her disgruntled from the enduring, even if it was a small sliver of things, but then after doing all that, not getting any of the estate.
Correct.
You know, so I'm assuming that's probably why a lot of the backlash came about it, because they're like, this is just a disgruntled child because she did something wrong to get cut out of the will, not.
I don't think she really did anything wrong. I think she was a normal kid. And
well, I know. I'm just saying without really knowing the story.
Yeah. It's just amazing to me. So, you know.
She's dead too, isn't she, the daughter?
I think so.
All right.
You know, they were saying in the special whatever at the end how that nanny character was representing like 2 or 3 actual employees that had worked there. But you would think one of these people would have said something.
Well, yeah.
They're
just as much
in
to
this
blame.
movie, I mean,
there's a moment too where she comes running in to wake up the kids. Yes. I thought she was going to take the kids and run.
Me too.
And they said, "Your mom wants you downstairs."
I'm like, what? In the middle of the night? It was bizarre. That lady to me was just.
She's just as bad as the rest of them.
Correct, because she's like, well, you know, your mother wants
she's the enabler.
Perfect. I'm like, okay, enabler. Exactly.
Anyways,
you gotta check this out.
The 40th anniversary edition of Mommie Dearest is available now on Blu-ray from Paramount. Mm-hmm. She's still alive?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, cool. Anyway, it's available now on Blu-ray on this lovely collector edition thing. So if you've never seen it, it's worth checking out. If you're just a fan of movies, it's a must-see because it is a classic. What are you doing? She's in her 80s now?
Yeah.
All right, moving on.
All right, next movie. Where do you want to go? You want to talk about this one?
Oh, sure.
Tell me about it.
All right, so... Oh, I forgot to pull this part real fast.
Okay.
So the next movie we're going to talk about is a movie called Seance. Now, it's not the kind of movie I would normally be excited to watch.
It looks like something I would watch.
And I think it's a movie you would like.
Okay.
And I didn't dislike it. I'm kind of want you to watch it so you can tell me your thoughts on it later on.
Yeah, I'd love to.
It is. They even bill it as kind of what's it? Something. Scream meets something else. I forgot what they said. But anyway, the reason I was interested in it was who directed it, which is Simon Barrett. He's just normally. Hold on, I'm trying to pull up his. Okay, yeah, I know he's a writer. Anyway, I'm a big fan of Simon Barrett, who he's done stuff. The guy that directed Godzilla vs. Kong, he teamed up with that guy, and they've done a bunch of movies together. But he's known for writing You're Next.
You're Next. The Guest.
The Guest, the Blair Witch remake. He did on the ABC's The Death segments, VHS segments. I'm a big fan of his in general. Yes. So in this one, he actually wrote and directed this movie.
Oh, okay, cool.
So just his involvement alone was enough for me to say, okay, I want to see this movie. So basically, the premise is this like boarding school, private school kind of place.
Yeah, that's where all the bad things happen.
Yeah, and it's these girls are trying to do like a seance to bring a ghost up, and then, but it's a joke, but then there's a death, and then of course people start getting murdered.
Y'all should never do this. Yeah, so I'm just going to tell you right now, don't ever do it. You've seen all the movies. It ends badly.
So it ends up becoming, going this whole thing, and now it's a whodunit of is the murders, is it the ghost, is it something else? Then this new girl comes to the school who's kind of mysterious, but almost all the other girls in the movie are assholes. So they're all fighting with each other, and then it's becoming, who's doing what. It's that kind of movie. I enjoyed the movie for what it was.
Yeah.
It wasn't as intense, I guess, as I thought because of his involvement. But it is very much like a Scream type of movie, or any one of these. What is the other one? Black Christmas. I think that's what they said. It's like a cross between Black Christmas and Scream.
Oh,
it's very much like a Sorority Row.
Yeah,
those kind of. It was that vibe.
Love that. I love that.
I'm not a big fan of ghost movies and supernatural kind of horror.
Yeah.
Although I do love the Conjuring films and Insidious, Sinister, those kind of things. The problem is most of the time, those movies just annoy me. They're boring and they're dumb. Those are the bigger examples, or the good stuff I really dig. I'm more about, I like the slasher and the monsters and that kind of stuff. So I kind of was on the fence going into this one because I thought, okay, it's going to be a seance. Obviously, it's in the title.
Yeah.
That it's leading towards ghosts and that kind of thing. But there's some different angles that they take that actually makes it worse. Work. Excuse me, not worse.
I'm like, worse.
It's not the movie I thought it was going to be, which is a good thing. But the girls wear on you pretty quick to me because there's no likable people in this movie, and that's where it goes. That's the problem for me. Is like the lead girl is fine, which is Suki Waterhouse.
Suki.
She's fine in the movie, and you like her just fine. She has a friend that is just fine, but like the headmaster there is kind of a douche. All the other group of girls. So
you don't even care if anybody survives?
All the other group of girls you want to die.
Oh, see? Yeah, that's not
They're all assholes. And there's a lot of that crap.
It's too bad.
You did this. Why is this all problem? That all stem from them starting a fight with her. It's a lot of that, but it's important for the story of what they're trying to do.
Do you think perhaps you're not the main target audience?
Oh, I guarantee it. Well, I think it's a 50-50 split. I think it's targeted to the horror fans, but it's also, I think, towards the people that are uber fans of Slumber Party Massacre and Black Christmas and those kind of movies. And I'm not a huge fan of those, despite being a big slasher fan. I like the more hardcore slasher ones.
You're not into the Ouija boards.
But I did enjoy the movie. I'd be interested to see what you like. It did feel very Buffy horror. The Craft.
That's what I would say, craftish.
That kind of stuff. But it is bloody and gory.
Oh, okay. Then I probably will like it.
But it's not as gory as I expected. When you come off a movie with them, with like if you see the Blair Witch remake or the You're Next, they're hyper violent.
Correct.
And so I think I was expecting that from them as well, and it wasn't as much of that. So some of it may be more my expectation than the movie itself.
Yeah, that happens a lot when you expect.
But I love Simon Barrett. I'm glad to see that he has a movie that he wrote and directed. Isn't just a writer. I know he's done some other stuff, but this is anything from him I'm excited to see. So it's a good addition.
That's good.
So it'll be available this week on Blu-ray and DVD on Tuesday.
Okay.
I think it's part of the Shudder. So if you have Shudder, it may already be on there. But Shudder's the horror streaming service. It's kind of like Hiya, but for horror movies.
Hiya.
Yes. But it's available now, I believe. I believe it's on Shudder now because it's a Shudder original, I believe. But it'll be Blu-ray and DVD this week.
Okay.
Moving on.
We're going here.
Which one? All right.
Is that good?
Sure, why not? All
right, guys. This one I'm excited to talk about because this is something I care about deeply. Vampires. All right. So this is a movie. It is available on Netflix right now. So after our show, you go watch this. And it's called Blood Red Sky.
It sounds like a really bad movie. From the title. The title just sounds like a bad movie.
But when you watch the trailer, it's interesting because it's like vampires on a plane. Which is like zombies on a train.
Well, yeah, I told her this movie very much reminds me of Train to Busan, which is, if you haven't seen Train to Busan, you need to watch it because that movie it's a Korean.
You need to watch them all.
Zombie flick, but all of it takes place on a bullet train.
It's awesome.
And this is
vampires on a plane. So, what do we talk? I don't want to give it away. So
if you watch the trailer, the trailer basically says there's a lady, she's on this flight, and she's trying to go to this doctor who's trying to help her with a blood disease.
Correct.
And right off the bat, at the beginning of the movie, you already know there's more than a blood disease situation.
Correct.
And then there's a hijacking situation, and then madness ensues.
Yeah. And you see in the trailer
that's the easiest way to describe
that all of a sudden she's like,
yeah.
So you kind of figure out from the trailer what's going on.
This isn't a deep movie. There's not a lot of twists and turns, really. No. Because right out the gate, it tells you, here's your issue.
Here's the issue. Hijacking.
Which I liked. I liked that they weren't
hijacking, what do we do? But, what do I do? I've been hijacked, but I'm trying to hide my blood disease.
Before you get on the plane, they make you understand, okay, we know what her issue is right away.
So,
and I like that because we don't try to build up to her reveal. You don't know how much is going to be revealed. Because then it goes ape shit off the wheel.
And I liked how it started because it was just kind of slow. She has a son. And so you're following him, and I'm like, what is going on? But then you realize why she sent him to go do these things. And I'm like, da, 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 we're following.
Which I'm still irritated by that.
Why?
Because, you realize her issues, that she can't be in the sun or she can't be in the daylight or whatever. Mm-hmm. So he goes, checks bags, but she comes back. She doesn't come until the nighttime, which means she could have come there they could have checked the bags way later. There's no reason for that little boy to be by himself.
No, babe, because if you don't check your bags an hour before, they're not going to get on the flight.
Okay, but she clearly came 2 or 3 hours later. That was not an hour time because when he was there, it was daylight.
No, it was sundown. Sun goes down.
There was
that
that sun does not go down that fast.
Well, I don't know, y'all. Just work with the story, babe.
I'm not going to work with the story.
No, because you know why? It was an international flight. So in that instance, you need to check your bags 2 hours ahead. That's what happened.
You can try to justify
it. all makes sense.
But
anyways,
be wrong.
So we're on the plane. She's trying to deal with her issues. She's doing her treatments, whatever it is she's doing. And all of a sudden, hijacking. Man, nobody better ever hijack any planes, because what do you do?
Hold on, let's recap what statement she just made. Nobody better hijack any planes. What do you do?
What do we do? I mean, so what I enjoy.
Here's the problem: everybody that's not on a hijacked plane is ready to take out a hijacked plane. Everybody gets on a hijacked plane, realize we're screwed. Yeah,
so that's the thing. I at least this hijacking was well thought out. It was well planned. Not that I'm happy about the hijacking.
No, there's a lot of layers.
But there's a lot going on, and that's what I appreciated about this movie, because we could easily get derailed just to the story of this lady. But I like that we added some other layers, because it's at a certain point, a vampire movie is just a vampire movie, and you'll lose people. Unless you're like me, that's hardcore. I could just live in vampire land and be okay with that. But for your other guests that are watching the film, you need some layers. So there's some layers. There's the lady and her kid. There's the kid and this guy. There's the lady dealing with her thing. There's the hijackers. You got the crazy guy, the straight guy.
There's the Muslim being terrorist stereotype.
That to me was so smart and sad at the same time.
It's horrible, but it was genius.
So they purposely.
No, don't tell them, because that's kind of a twist. So we don't want to say that.
Purposely.
No purpose. Don't even say anything about that.
There's people. There are people there, and that to me was so wrong.
So what happened?
Don't say anything.
What's crazy? It's told her. It's one of those it's got a lot of build up. It's kind of got the slow build up, as you mentioned, getting on the plane. Once you get on the plane, once things start happening, there's still that little slow process of the hijacking or whatever. But once we get to the violence, if you will, it is insane for the rest of the movie.
I love it.
It's super gory. It's bloody. There are a couple of moments you have to. I mean, here's the thing: if you're watching a movie with vampires or monsters or creatures, you automatically have to let some shit go.
But vampires are real.
Jesus Christ.
Yes, Jesus Christ is real as well. Thank you, Jesus.
You have to let some things go, because there's a couple of elements that I'm like, what? No, that's not how that worked. But
well, and I didn't know this happened. What you see in the poster, Lincoln Burrows shows up, and I'm
Dominic Purcell. It's not Lincoln Burrows.
It's Lincoln Burrows, and then
the man's done so many things in his career, and all she can give him is Prison Break.
He
was Dracula and Blade.
Okay, he was Dracula.
He was on Legends of Tomorrow.
So that's interesting that he showed back up in the vampire thing. I like Legends of Tomorrow.
He's a very nice man. I interviewed him years ago.
He's a darling.
I don't know about that, but he's a nice man.
I just like that. So you need to watch it. It's really good. It's got everything. It's got multi-level things. I like that because we're in an international flight. There's some people speaking French. There's some people speaking German. There's some of your other people. There's some English. There's everything you need in this movie, and it's all on a plane. So
it's very violent. So I will tell you this: if you have claustrophobia issues, I
was going to say, for our friends that don't like flying, 'cause we have some of those.
This reminds me of if you were showing this to somebody that's fixing to get on a plane or watching it while you're on a plane. It reminds me of what are you laughing at?
I've done stupid stuff like that, like watching a plane crash movie on a plane.
When we were on our honeymoon, we were fixing it. We had a split level honeymoon where we went and stayed at this cabin in Arizona on the side of a mountain. Yeah. That was going to be
We were down in a canyon. There was no service.
No, we were up on a mountain is what we were.
Well, we were.
Anyway, we were staying at the thing. It was beautiful, and that was going to be the whole honeymoon. And the last minute, we were like, hey, we're only a couple hours or whatever drive to Las Vegas. So we could hit the Grand Canyon. We could go to Hoover Dam and hit Vegas for the night. So why don't we do that?
It was awesome.
So I had brought some movies for us to watch. So right before we leave, we watched The Hills Have Eyes. And then the entire drive is
I'm
just
driving
desert.
at night.
And you're seeing like cars that are burnt up and abandoned on the side of the road.
Oh my gosh. And then I thought I saw coyote eyes on the side of the road.
So she's like, really? You made me watch this movie and now I think this is going to...
Yes, they were going to get us. They were going to come out and kidnap us and eat us or something.
Anyway, so
oh my gosh.
don't watch this movie if you're going to get on a plane anytime soon. But I can see how it could induce like claustrophobic issues with people. But it's really good. I really dug it as well. It's chaotic, it's violent, it's fast.
There's some blood and guts. There's some story.
Yeah, it's kind of insane. There's some great prosthetic makeup.
That's what I appreciated too. There's some good makeuping in this.
Yeah, and there's some. One of the things I really dug too. I'm assuming you noticed, but once they get, we'll call it bloodlust level.
Mm-hmm.
How when they go to bite things, how the jaw kind of extended deeper,
yeah,
but not overly crazy.
Yeah, it wasn't too
that
weird.
Stuff was really cool. But they also gave that stop motion fast effect to the way they move that I like.
Yes.
Which is, it reminds me of like a fly moving.
Yeah.
Where it's kind of jerky.
Well, and I think they would be if you're a vampire with blood.
What are you doing over there? You just look like Austin Powers.
Anyway,
Blood Red Sky is available on Netflix now.
you need to watch it. It's so good. I love vampire
If you like
movies.
horror, if you like vampires,
vampires,
if you like Lincoln Burrows, or if you like airplanes, this is the movie for you.
Snakes on a plane.
That's right. I'm tired of these vampires on this plane.
Yeah, so you need to watch this. It's actually a really good film. Please watch it. Thank you. That's my personal whatchamacallit there. All right, we have these two.
We might as well do this one because that'll be the biggest
This one?
Yeah. This next one I've been insanely excited for over a year or so. They announced it a long time ago that Jean-Claude Van Damme was going to be doing a Netflix film. And for anybody that doesn't know this by now, I am an unabashed fan of all things Jean-Claude Van Damme. I do recognize he's done some bad movies. I recognize not all of them are great, but I will still fight you in the face to defend my fandom of the man.
But will you fight me like this?
I will fight you with any fiber of my being.
What movie is that?
Pretty much his entire catalog.
It was Bloodsport. I was trying to do that.
Yeah, that's not anything in Bloodsport. Anyway.
Yes, he is. That one slow motion thing.
No.
I'll go find it.
No. You've clearly never seen Bloodsport.
I have. I've watched it because I'm married to you. What else am I going to watch?
Watch all four of them. All right. So, anyway, this new movie is a French movie called The Last Mercenary, and believe it or not, it is an action comedy.
Yes.
Now, for some people may not know this, including yourself, but Van Damme has done some comedies as of late.
Yeah.
And he's done some really good ones. Like he's done a couple. Like there's one where he plays a survivalist. There's some other ones, things like this where he kind of pokes fun at himself. He did a TV show called Jean-Claude Van Johnson that sadly only got one season, where he played a parody of himself and who was also a spy. Anyway, so this latest one, it's a French movie. He's playing a mercenary known as
The
Mist. And some people call him the Mist. Not just Mist. That's funny. But he plays a guy who nobody's ever seen.
Correct.
They don't know what he looks like. But they show a photo of him of he's like what, maybe 8, 9, or 10. He's in like a cowboy outfit.
Yeah.
They're like, this is the last photo that's ever been taken.
Yeah, right. And so then when they find out, they're like, aren't you whatever? Like they say his name, also known as the Mist, every time.
So
and I'm like, what?
The easy way to describe this is he has a son.
That's what I'm doing.
Okay, well, yeah, but you did all this, and that's why it didn't make any sense.
Oh, okay.
Because he does this, and then he brings his hands up because he's blind.
He's blind because he put the chalk in his face.
So he does this, and then he goes like this, and then it does slow motion, and then it comes down, then he goes. It's way over the top for no reason.
Well, it doesn't matter. Sorry, we got sidetracked.
She's watching him being blind when he's fighting Chun-Li at the end of the movie, a.k.a. Bolo Young, the greatest of all time.
Okay, sorry. I'll get back to it.
Stop watching Bloodsport while we're trying to do this movie.
I don't know if I can.
I mean, I'll stop doing the show and watch Bloodsport. I'm fine with
it.
So the easiest thing is he has a son that he's never met who... Basically, there's a whole mistaken identity situation, and now there's assassins and government people and all this stuff are killing him, so it makes him have to come back to protect him.
Yeah, he has to come out of hiding to help.
And the Mist is also a master of disguise. which essentially looks like Van Damme in just a wig or a mustache.
It's so funny
It's
because
awesome.
they're horrible wigs.
Yeah, and the
On
thing that
purpose.
makes this movie so genius is Van Damme is fully on board.
Yes.
He is he's clearly having a blast making this movie. And I think the older Van Damme is becoming a lot better actor.
Yes.
If you've never seen JCVD, that's the name of the film. Did you ever watch that?
I don't think I watched all of it. I know you showed
that
it
is
to
one of
me.
his best performances, and there's just this heartbreaking sequence in it where he gives a monologue looking at the camera, because that movie's kind of
about him, right?
The whole movie he plays himself, and it's kind of his downfall, and it kind of deals with the court case from Cyborg where a guy was shoot him because he had accidentally put a guy's eye out in a kick thing, and losing his kids and all these things. And I don't know how much of it really happened, how much didn't, but he gives this monologue to the camera about how Hollywood no longer wanted him, and this is it feels like he's really talking about himself. It doesn't feel like acting.
Yeah.
And he took a turn after that movie and really started doing, still did some crap, but he did a lot better films, in my opinion, after that. This being one of them. This one, I think, it's a fun movie. It's hilarious. It is French, so you have to buy into the French fun of it all.
Yes.
What did you think? Because I could go on all day about this movie. Let's talk about you.
Because
Sorry.
it's him. You're going to love it no matter what. Well, you can find some stuff wrong, but you would still like it.
I would still enjoy just the fact of getting to see him on screen.
But as
someone who's not a fan,
I'm not a super fan. I mean, I like one
and
or
I love
two
you
movies.
anyway.
I know. I like one or two movies, but I really liked this movie. I liked that it is a different style of comedy than I think what Americans are perhaps used to. It takes us back into a simpler time of comedy where they pull off some simple gags, but that they work. And I was researching French comedies, and that's what they do. They do a lot of wordplay, which I think works for us because you get it. I'm trying to think of like older movies, like when you say something, but it's like really, it's a double entendre.
Yeah, one of the things that I thought was it kind of compared to not being the spoof level, but you mentioned it as well, is like the Pink Panther,
like a Pink Panther
the Inspector
style.
Clouseau stuff, but not the spoof parody, but that kind of jokes thrown around.
And he was really good in this, and he's actually really funny because he's not trying to be funny. He's just delivering it straight, then it comes off funny, and then all of these, like his kids
ensemble
and this ensemble, and then the girlfriend, well, not the girl, but the friend and then the random drug dealer guy who's Momo.
That's her brother.
Oh, okay. And then this police kind of guy, government guy, they're all in on it. And they're all trying to help each other, but it is the most ragtag, useless group of people. And he's the only one that knows how to fight.
Who set up? Well, we found out there's another guy that there's a whole side joke that is hilarious
about why he can move.
And it kind of sets up. I hope well enough that they make another one because it kind of sets them as a new action team that are so far from the action world.
But they each bring some skills, like some computer skills, and this person knows this person. And this guy did this, and I mean,
and despite being funny, there are plenty of Van Damme sequences in here with him kicking ass, and
I like that we got some of the classics that like the splits. Got some good.
He doesn't do as much of the jumping and the crazy stuff in this one, and I know for a fact that while he still kicks and trains every day, I know there was a hip issue that he dealt with because of which I kind of have a similar thing happening. But he can still do everything.
His kicks are still amazing.
Yeah, for someone who's 61 years old, it's still impressive.
I can't do anything.
For the physique that he still has, and
I need to stretch.
I mentioned to you, he's probably one of the few that are starting to age a little more in the face.
Mm-hmm.
But body wise, he still looks like maybe not as chiseled as he was in Bloodsport, but he's still rocking the big arms.
Than us.
But anyway, he's still rocking the big arms and still throwing the badass kicks.
It's awesome.
And one of the things I've always loved about Van Damme is he has a very specific way he moves. And
yes, I know.
Because I tell you.
You're like, hey, honey, look. And you're like backing up the movie like, look, he's going to lift up this leg just as a preparation because he can do the other kick. And then when he lands, his leg's still up just in case he has to kick someone else. He's like, I'm going to practice that. So then he'll rewind it and play it. And then he's over here jumping and he's like, okay, let me rewind it again. And then this guy, let me do it again. Look, you can't even see, but I got my leg up.
But I can do it.
I know you can. I know that's where a lot of your kicking comes from.
Van
because you
Damme
watch
is
this
actually
so much.
is and this is a controversial statement,
Uh-oh.
but Van Damme is my Bruce Lee, because as much as I love Bruce Lee, and as much as he's an icon, and I fully embrace the legend and everything about him, just like everyone else, I grew up on Van Damme.
True.
That's who I saw, and I became obsessed with his. Being a Taekwondo person, I became obsessed with kicking already. And when I came up seeing him with the split kick and the splits on the chairs, and I was doing all that when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And I became obsessed with every time a movie came out and he threw a different kind of kick or a different way of moving. You know, that's why I think I'm so enamored with Scott Adkins as well, because Scott Adkins is a hardcore Jean-Claude Van Damme fan.
Ah,
and
makes sense.
He kicks very much like him, but he's like next level Van Damme. Like he surpassed what the stuff Van Damme did and does even more. So it's funny, as I grew up with the Van Damme stuff, training Taekwondo, but then researching Van Damme stuff. And then I've now shifted to watching a lot of Scott Adkins videos and trying to do something what he's doing.
Oh, I know.
To evolve what I already do.
Because then somebody over here is like, hey, let's try this. I can't jump. But maybe I can't because I tell myself I can't jump.
I outweigh you by at least 100 plus pounds, and I can jump.
I know you can. But you're a ninja.
This is accurate.
I'm a Padawan learner.
I'm a ninja. You're a Beverly Hills ninja.
Yes, I am. I totally am. I'm like Winnie the Pooh trying to do karate.
This movie is really funny. It's entertaining. I love it.
I'm Winnie the Pooh trying to do karate. Yeah. That's a funny. Anyways, this movie is hilarious. You need to watch it. It's on Netflix now. There is some good fighting. Oh, the one guy that's obsessed with help me.
Oh, Scarface. There's a whole Scarface situation.
It's hilarious. So you got to know your Scarface because he's just repeating lines. And he's like, "Why are you telling me lines from me?" He's like, "It's not a movie. It's real life."
And you even get him recreating a little bit of the dance from Kickboxer.
Yeah.
There's a moment where you actually see a Bloodsport poster, which he acknowledges. He goes, "That's a real man." It's awesome, man. The movie is just, he pokes fun at himself. He brings the laughs. He's bringing the action. Van Damme is the full package. I don't care what you say.
I really liked that other guy, the government dude.
Yeah, he's kind of
fun.
Goofy comic relief, but he's also bumbling. He's kind of a bumbling moron, but he's also.
I want to just watch him do some stuff because he was all in, man. That one scene, because there's this one scene with he's just doing this.
When he gets hit. That is a genius performance.
Like whatever that was.
He gets hit in the face, and so his face is messed up, so his tongue is hanging out.
And at one point he's like,
he puts it in and it just falls out again. It's so good.
It's hilarious. Anyways, random. But you need to watch the movie. It is so good.
It is. Kumte. And if you want to watch other Van Damme things, I've talked about this in the show. Just Bloodsport 4 movie collection is available on Amazon. This is not a paid promotion. I paid for these. Bloodsport 4 movie collection. Van Damme is only in the first one. But Daniel Bernhardt, who you would know from Nobody, John Wick. He's in the Matrix sequels. He's also a big-time fight choreographer. He's in Skylines, the third one. Or you could get the Kickboxer 4-film collection, which is also Jean-Claude Van Damme in the first one, but this time Sasha Mitchell from the Suzanne.
Okay, check it out. The Last Mercenary. It's on Netflix now. Go.
Do you have any other Van Damme movies that you actually like, or have you ever sat and watched the full Van Damme movie from beginning to end?
I have. I watched the one where he's the robot thing.
There's no movie where he's a robot thing, but I'm assuming you're meaning Universal Soldier.
Universal Soldier.
Okay, he's not a robot.
Okay,
he's a animated corpse.
Whatever. They put him in that big truck. And
don't say whatever. This is important information. There's a difference between a robot and a reanimated. The one with Dolph Lundgren?
Yes, I like that movie.
There's 4 of those.
Oh, I only seen that one, I think.
Scott Adkins is in the 4th one.
Oh. I like the one where he's twins.
Which one?
I don't know.
He played twins in 2 different movies.
I don't know. The one that
you're talking about Double Team.
Maybe so.
Yeah.
Because he's the one where he's the yoga instructor, the fitness instructor.
Yes. In Hollywood.
Yes.
So he's wearing his tights and his leg warmers.
Yes, his leg warmers.
And then his brother is the arms dealer in Thailand.
And he's got the long hair.
Vietnam. Yes. No, he doesn't have long hair, but yes.
Whatever. Which is then I'm thinking the one where he's Chance.
That's Hard Target.
With Grandpa.
Wilford Brimley.
Wilford Brimley. I do like that movie.
Hard Target is awesome. Hard Target is a very important movie for action cinema, because that was also John Woo's first American film.
Oh, okay.
Hard Target is one of my favorite all-time Van Damme movies.
That's fun. I think that's all I really know. So
Kickboxer.
Oh, Kickboxer, of course, I've seen.
Kickboxer. Have you seen Kickboxer all the way through with Tong Po and everything?
Yeah, we watched it.
I know I've watched it.
We watched it recently, I feel like.
No,
Not
we
recently,
haven't
maybe last year. And then we have
We're
this
about to watch
big,
it recently.
we have that big thing
We don't
coming.
have it. Oh.
Yeah, we ordered a big
I am beyond
statue.
excited.
Well, and I told you to order it, so it's my fault. Are you excited?
I'm so excited.
It's tall, too.
I just got to make sure I can afford it.
We're doing the payment plan.
I am on a payment plan.
Now, I know you have all the movies.
I'm missing a couple more recent
big
things.
of a stack of just Jean-Claude
No,
movies.
they're actually not together anymore. When we redid the show, you didn't let me keep them together.
Oh.
So I think I am going to redo the martial arts section only.
Okay.
And just put the martial art people, the Seagals, the Jackie Chan's, Scott Atkins, and all their movies together.
Yeah, I don't even know all his movies. Now, I know you do.
I do.
And you've seen them all. But that's probably the only 3 or 4 I remember.
Okay, so what happened is he did this. He had this long string of big hits. With his biggest hit of all time was Time Cop, which that was probably his biggest box office.
Did I watch that?
I don't know. It's where he goes back in time. He goes through time because he's a cop. Time Cop.
Going back in time.
Time Cop is really good.
Is it? Have I seen that?
If not, we should watch it. I think you'd like it. It's got Ray Don Chong in it.
Okay.
Anyway,
Double
is Ray
Impact.
Don Chong in it? I think so. Maybe. Oh, that's not Ray.
Oh, I remember Double Team with
That's not
what's his
Ray Don
name?
Double Team was one of the ones that were starting to be the low end when he started losing box office draw. I like Double Team as well, but it is not one that people like. And then he did the one with Robert Schneider. Oh crap! Go to Double Team. Where's Double Team at? No, go down.
All the way down here.
Knockoff. Knockoff was one of his last ones. It was a major bomb. That was him and Rob Schneider. It's a horrible movie. I remember watching it in the theater going, oh my God, this is the last Van Damme movie I will ever see, because they're not going to let him make movies anymore.
Right.
But anyway, then he did Legionnaire, which was a straight video movie here. It got open international, it's not a martial arts flick, it's more of a period piece. It's really good. But then he did this movie called Replicant.
I remember
Replicant. He plays twins again.
Oh,
because in that one he plays a serial killer.
Yes.
And then they replicate him
to go catch the first.
To try to catch the serial killer.
That one I remember. I like that one.
And that's got him with Michael Rooker. That is a really good movie. That one doesn't get enough love.
Okay, I do remember that.
Yeah, because he's got long hair. Replicant. That's the first time. Not only is he playing a bad guy, but he's also got this long, stringy hair. And
yes, I totally remember that. Okay.
Then his other version of him is kind of baby-like. So he's like.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, because they had to replicate him, and he wasn't.
Then you get into
ready.
some of these other ones with like something corpse and all these other ones that were kind of a string of pretty bad ones. And there's one called Eagle Path, I believe it's called, or it's never been released.
Oh.
So I'm waiting to see it because I think it's another one he wrote and directed or something. Because he wrote and directed a movie called The Quest, which was with him and Roger Moore,
right?
Which was essentially Bloodsport, but it's never been released. That was decent, but
so many kickboxer movies.
Yeah, because he came back for the remakes too.
I see.
So
okay.
Anyway, I might know a little bit about Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yeah, you do.
If you don't know, he's also in a small sequence in Breakin'. He was the original.
Breakin'?
He was the original Predator in the first Predator movie before he left the screen.
Mm-hmm.
He realized they were not going to see his face, so he left the film.
Ah.
And then, of course, they made the right decision and got rid of him because he was more of a bug instead of what we ended up getting. They made a good decision.
Oh my gosh, that little boy at class. This is so random. He likes Predator. I was like,
how are you not his best friend then?
I'm not kid. Like you.
How did the Predator even come up in class?
Well, I want to know how Walrus doing karate on
that makes more sense from a little kid
in Antarctica. And then
there it is. We call ourselves the Walrus family.
It's meant to be.
Y'all are connected.
Because I asked. I was at Taekwondo this weekend teaching the little kids, and I asked them what their superpower would be, and he's like, "I want to have powers and be the Predator." I was like, "You like the Predator?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Me too." Yes. So
let me get this straight. I've been jokingly referring to us as the Walrus family.
Yeah.
You're a big fan of the Predator. We both are.
Yeah.
So now this kid you taught one time, in one day, he referred walruses and Predator. I'm telling you.
He knows me. It's meant to be.
Y'all are connected.
Yep. He's going to be my student now.
Y'all are connected on a stupid level.
I'm going to get him all the time now, aren't I?
Yes, you are.
All right.
I'm sorry,
movie,
I didn't mean to go on my Van Damme tangent.
But it's going to happen.
The Last Mercenary is available now on Netflix. Check it out. Please check it out. Even if you don't care about Van Damme, just go watch it. It's a fun movie. And I want the movie to do well because this is one of his big ones, that first one on the streaming service.
Please.
He does have a couple of voiceover stuff because I think he's in the new Minions movie as a new character.
Yes.
You know, and he did a Master Croc and Kung Fu Panda.
Kung Fu Panda.
And stuff like that. So.
All right.
So
last movie for tonight. So
what is the number one movie of this weekend?
You may have heard of this little company called Disney. And
they have all kinds of trouble right now.
They have a little ride called Jungle Cruise. And guess what? We have a film with the same name.
Which I thought was the stupidest idea when I heard they were going to make a Jungle Cruise movie. I'm like, really? But at the same time, it makes just as much sense that the Pirates of the Caribbean ride getting a movie. Yeah,
because those movies are way better than that little ride.
Yeah, that ride's
not.
It's impressive
for the
how it was
time
put together
period,
and what they did with it. But the ride itself, yeah, now it's dated. It's one you should do once. Once you've done it, you're like, which we still ride it because it's classic, but it's
and because it's indoors and it's air conditioned.
That's right.
On a hot day. So anyway, so now we have Jungle Cruise, which is not indoors, nor is it air conditioned, and you wait in a really long line with mosquitoes. So,
it is one of the most popular rides outside of now
last
Avatar.
Time we were going to try to ride it, but I was like, I just waited 3 hours for Avatar. Not really. We waited an hour.
We waited. No, yeah, you're right.
An hour. We didn't wait more than an hour for anything this last time.
You're right.
But Jungle Cruise, it was like, not waiting that long to sit in a hot boat. Anyways, so what's our story here? We have Emily Blunt and Dwayne Johnson, who I cannot call The Rock because he's now Dwayne.
He still can be called The Rock.
He's Dewey, little Dewey.
He does own the name, The Rock.
The Rock?
Yeah.
Here you go, boy.
He got his name. I don't believe it's owned by WWE. I believe he's got his own
good
name.
For you.
But he goes by Dwayne because he's an actor, not a wrestler.
He's Dewey.
When he pops back into WWE, then he's The Rock again.
I would call him Rock.
So, and I think a lot of people still do.
Yeah. Anyways, so basically, as you see in the trailer, he is a little steamboat captain, and
Humphrey Bogart.
And then Emily Blunt needs to hire a boat. She's in search for this mysterious flower that's going to cure us all. So kind of like on a search for the Fountain of Youth or something. The miracle.
This movie is essentially, and this doesn't mean it's a bashing of it. This movie is Pirates of the Caribbean. It's almost the exact same movie.
A little bit.
No, it's almost the exact same.
Are they on a quest for? Oh, they are. They're looking for the eternal life.
Found the coins.
The Fountain of Youth. Well, at first it's eternal life. Then it's that one.
Well, they're looking for the coins in the first one.
I know.
Or whatever, because I remember they got to put the coin back, and then But then there's twists and turns.
But then later, one of the other ones, they're literally going to find.
So this movie is essentially the same exact storyline. Obviously there's a change because it's a riverboat captain. It's not the same necessarily time period. There's different creatures, but there is a supernatural element. But there's plenty of twists and turns. But I will say this movie is a blast.
It is so fun, actually. I didn't know what to expect because, again, like you said, I didn't understand how you could make a whole movie out of one little attraction. Because the attraction, you're just going around seeing stuff, Yeah.
And one of the most genius things about this movie is they basically recreate the attraction ride.
Yeah.
But in a real environment.
The stuff comes up and the water comes
the fake
down.
Hippos.
And it's in there. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
How cool is that? But then we get into the actual story of Emily Blunt trying to go find whatever it is she's trying to find. And I'm going to tell you, the best character in this whole movie is neither one of them. It's her brother.
No.
Yes.
He wore thin on me pretty fast. He is funny. It's Jake Whitehall. He's funny for a while, but he did wear me out.
Oh, no.
That's where this movie is very much exactly like The Mummy. So this movie is kind of an amalgam of The Mummy, Pirates of the Caribbean, and something else. So in The Mummy, you have Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz. So now you have The Rock and Emily Blunt.
Yeah.
Then you have the guy that was her, I don't remember if it was her brother or her partner, who was the English guy.
Her brother.
That was crazy and always not wanting to get dirty and whatever. Now you have Jake Whitehall. It's the same again.
Oh, that is the exact same
another
story.
Same kind of thing.
They go on the cruise and they show up with all this luggage, and The Rock is telling Emily Blunt, he's like, we don't have room for all that. She's like, this is all I have. That's him. Because he comes with his dinner jacket, his swimwear, his tennis racket, his golf clubs, and like, you're going on a little riverboat. What are you doing? But the funniest thing to me was one night on the little riverboat. He doesn't get all his luggage on; it all gets thrown out. But he comes down with his little tuxedo dinner jacket for dinner, and they're like eating like rodents.
They're eating piranha.
Whatever.
Remember, they use the rat to catch the piranha.
And I'm just like, oh my gosh, he's in a dinner jacket. And she's like, aren't you hot? And he's like, I'm okay. And then he's like,
yeah, because they're in the Amazon or whatever.
Yes,
so
it's ridiculous.
Like just dry heat. Whatever.
Okay, well, I thought he was hilarious.
He is funny. He just wore me out after a while because I'm like,
I liked it.
It was just too much.
Okay, it wasn't too much for me, but that explains why you get tired of me being funny, because I'm too much for you. I am hilarious.
I never get tired of you being funny. I just get tired of waiting for you to be funny.
Oh. Or is it you get tired of me singing? Because I sing a lot.
I don't get tired of you singing. I get tired of you singing when we're having a conversation.
That's how I converse. Like
no,
I'm in a
you
musical.
don't. No. If you were conversing with your singing, that'd be different. You go off into singing a song and ignoring the conversation, and then you try to come back to it.
Sometimes I sing my
Because if I said something like, we got to find this so we can stay alive.
Staying alive. Staying alive.
This is what happened.
Staying alive.
That is not continuing the conversation. That is you having a concert without me.
Well, it's going to happen in my head anyway.
But that's fine, but it doesn't need to happen. The problem is it happens during very important conversations, which annoys me. I know, that's why I saw the thing.
We got a problem. We've got a problem. Oh, we got a big problem.
Did it move?
It's okay. Oh my
Hold on.
gosh. Oh gosh.
She's about to take it with her. She's off.
Okay.
All right.
Ooh, it was not on purpose.
Sorry, the dog was all tangled up in the cord for the camera.
The camera. Okay. Anyways.
But despite it being a very familiar story, which never actually bothered me,
It
even though I
didn't
came
bother me
out of that, I'm like, that was pretty much the Mummy and Pirates of the Caribbean. I'm fine with that because it's a safe story to go to.
Yes.
To take something that doesn't really have a story and build on, and it works. They're all 3 period type adventures.
Correct.
Which I don't think we get enough of these. And it had a little bit of an Indiana Jones-esque.
Yes, I like that because we're on a mysterious, a mythical quest.
This is like a 50s adventure. I know it's not in the 50s, but the kind of movie you would see back in the day where you'd go to see Humphrey Bogart and African Queen or these kind of movies, and you're on just an action adventure, and you're fighting the elements, and you're fighting pirates.
Yes,
and you're fighting,
this guy, I love him.
Yeah, and you're fighting different variations of every element that could go wrong goes wrong. And in this case, you got the little tugboat kind of boat.
There's water rapids. Oh no, there's the elements.
There's Nazis.
Oh, you were so happy about that. And then there was like snakes.
And then it's funny that the Nazis
cats.
played by Jesse Plemons, which just kills me.
And then, it's true. And then there's natives. And then are you on sacred lands? And then, of course, the supernatural element, which was actually very Pirates of the Caribbean.
My problem with that was I was fine with it because that's kind of inevitably where a lot of these movies go. I would have liked this movie to ditch that supernatural element and go with a real element. But you even think about Indiana Jones, it turns into these supernatural. People like to give Indiana Jones crap, like say with the last one, with all the issues.
Aliens.
Oh, aliens! But they seem to be okay with, the Ark of the Covenant and
that's true.
And shamans pulling people's hearts out, and all those. That's in part 2. Those supernatural things.
I just don't know if that's real.
No, but all those supernatural elements are still there because religion and all that kind of stuff with that is still a supernatural element.
Correct.
So those things there, but suddenly aliens are too much.
Aliens are real too, I'm sure.
That's the argument of people then, oh man, the Hulk movie, he jumped 100 miles at a time. Like he's an 8-foot green person whose pants don't leave. That's what you have a problem with?
Because I have a problem with the pants. I know we don't talk about it.
But in that Hulk movie, he didn't have pants to stand. They ripped off and were disappeared. So he was naked half that movie.
Okay. But I have a problem with the pants. I know we don't talk about the pants.
Stan Lee says you don't talk about the pants.
Anyway, Jungle Cruise. I thought it was fun. It's enjoyable. Obviously, very family friendly. Everybody in our theater enjoyed it. They were laughing along with it.
We don't know if everybody in our theater enjoyed it. We just
they
seemed to be having a good time.
People were laughing. The people next to us.
He was
smiling. He was into it. They were chuckling. And I really am enjoying The Rock lately.
Lately? When did you not?
Tooth Fairy?
That was the beginning. Nobody enjoyed The Rock then.
I'm just saying he's actually quite charming and funny in this movie.
I've been following The Rock's acting career since he first popped up on Star Trek Voyager. You didn't know that?
No.
He was on Voyager as like a gladiator fighter, as an alien.
I'll find out because
I'm
watching all this.
He did that. Then he did an episode of I think he was on that with The Net when it came with that Shut TV series, the one that was based on that Sandra Bullock movie.
Oh yeah.
I think that's the one he did.
I'll find out right now.
And then he shifted into, it was when he found his stride of Gridiron Gang. Kind of found him as a little more serious role because before it was Tooth Fairy and it was what was the other one? There was another silly one like that. Game Plan, which the Game Plan's not bad. Escape from Witch Mountain, which was okay, the remake.
Okay.
But when he did stuff like Snitch and Walking Tall and
so good,
and those kind of movies, he kind of found his place as an action star, and and then you get into his more movies. But I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this movie is one of the top grossing movies in his catalog so far.
Wow, well, good for him.
So I'm sure Black Adam is going to dwarf all of this, but
yeah, people are going to.
And the same guy that directed this is directing Black Adam, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, okay.
So,
the other thing I really liked about this, since you mentioned it's a period piece, was the costumes.
Yes.
The Rock looks so cute in this little outfit.
He looked just like Humphrey Bogart in African Queen. Go look up African Queen and look at the outfit. I'm telling you, they took that and said, this is what you should look like. And but I agree, the vibe of their costumes, the sets,
loved it.
Everything.
Oh, he sure as heck does. It's African Queen all over again, isn't it?
Yep, I'm telling you.
Who did African Queen?
What do you mean?
Like, is that Disney?
I don't know.
But it is. It's exactly the same thing. Is that Katharine Hepburn?
I believe so.
Oh my goodness. It is exactly.
I told you.
Oh my gosh! Even the look of the boat with the little tarp.
I'm telling you that had to be.
And the little steamboat had to be some inspiration.
Yeah,
there.
some inspiration just for the look of the movie.
Well, now I got to go watch African Queen. I want to see this movie. That looks so good.
Here's the thing: is The Rock, despite being this hulking man, he's good at action. He's actually good at comedy.
He's like a gentle child.
He's good at comedy, but that man oozes charisma.
He does.
He is just.
He didn't even have to use the eyebrow in this movie.
He hasn't used the eyebrow in a while, but the man just can make you like him.
Yes.
Even if you hate him.
So you can't hate him.
I'm just saying. Even if you're like, I can't stand him. I don't like wrestlers. The man starts talking different lines. He's become a really good actor.
Mm-hmm.
He's found his stride over the last few movies, and he's
sure
never been a bad actor. But you can buy into him in something like Fast and Furious as a tough guy.
Yeah.
You can take him into something like this where he's more loose and lighthearted,
And it felt like Emily Blunt and he really got along well. Like they could be friends.
Well, if you watch any of their press tours that they're doing, they look like they're having fun together. Yeah, see, and that's what you want. I feel like they're now going to be BFFs, and he and John are going to hang out. And well, he's very. They'll probably work out with them because now John's buff for that. I'm sure he has what you hate about Mark Wahlberg, where he can be a hard ass when it comes to the business side of things.
But
he's probably the hardest working man in Hollywood because he's running TV shows, producing shows. He's got his tequila business.
Well, we were watching a TV show and he was producing. It's all those behind the scenes of.
It's the movies behind the magic for Disney.
Yeah, like he's producing all these.
He's in the Disney business now.
Wow, you go, boy. He's making that Disney money.
Which is funny because with all the issues going on with Disney right now,
are they having issues?
With Scarlett Johansson suing Disney over the royalties for Black Widow. Everybody's saying that Emma Stone is now possibly looking at suing for Cruella.
Man.
Gerard Butler filed one against people for Olympus Has Fallen, which is not Disney, but it's opening the floodgates.
Yeah.
Now I've seen a couple articles that all eyes are on Emily Blunt and The Rock. How they're going to handle the release being dual release as well.
But did they know?
Well, here's the thing: is if you don't know what I'm talking about, because Disney decided to do dual release because of the pandemic, you can pay extra for. Most of these Disney films on Disney Plus for $30, and then you own it at home, or you can go to the theater and watch it. Warner Brothers did the same thing on their entire catalog, but you don't pay for it. It's part of HBO Max.
Correct. So
they had a lot of backlash at that time, too, by the creators and the talent who were like, hey, our contracts say we get back back-end points and bonuses for movies crossing certain marks of revenue and whatnot. So, from my understanding, Warner Brothers went back and they actually paid everybody their royalties already.
Nice.
So that there's no issue. Disney, from what it's being said, is they never negotiated any of these contracts. They just decided to do it.
And then didn't really.
Now, that being said, Disney has also clapped back and said, no, we did not violate such and such, and she's already been paid. And this is the issue people are thinking. They've already said how much money that she's already made, like Scarlett Johansson had already made on Black Widow.
Yeah.
So now people are calling them out on their saying, putting her
disclosing her $20 million salary.
And she's saying she owes, and then Gerard Butler is saying he's back owed $10 million for the franchise for Olympus Has Fallen. Cruella got the same release. So the problem sounds like Disney didn't go. Apparently Kevin Feige, who runs Marvel's, pissed at Disney too for not handling the talent properly. And so we don't know the whole story. We just know what documents were released and kind of thing. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out, because on one side you have Cruella did well enough. They've talked about developing a sequel.
Yeah.
But if you have a hostile star, are they going to just cancel that and move on, or are they going to figure it out? Scarlett Johansson, on the other hand, has already said she was kind of finished. She's
done, so she's in a safer position to sue.
She can fight because she's already done 10 years of Marvel and moved on.
She's done.
It's going to be interesting with Gerard Butler as well, because he's planning on 2 more Has Fallen movies. But if he decides to sue them, will they still make the other 2?
Like, will they want to hire you because now you're going to be one of those actors?
Yeah, and this is going to open floodgates to a lot of actors who might have lost back end on stuff because of pandemic releases and streaming releases, and if people aren't properly negotiating. Anyway, that's a whole other story.
It's a big deal, though.
So people are looking at. I have a distinct feeling though with The Rock. That man is way more involved in all the business stuff. I believe he helped produce this movie, so I think
he's already paid.
I'm sure he's going to make sure everybody's taken care of. And I can't imagine Emily Blunt is not, because she's already been in the Disney business too with Mary Poppins. And so I'm sure she's pretty much, don't make them revive good news and do a bad story about Disney. You don't know some good news and you go watch it.
Anyways, all right.
Anyway, so Jungle Cruise is a ton of fun, despite it being very familiar. I still had a blast with it.
I thought it was fun.
Great action. My only real big argument with this whole thing is there was not enough Paul Giamatti.
I know.
Because he's so good in the movie.
Part.
But he's so good. He plays that smarmy, kind of bad guy who's not really a criminal, but he is. But he's also becomes a comic foil for other stuff that happens. And I just love all things Paul Giamatti. Anyway.
Yes, you do.
Do you know what movie? Quick Paul Giamatti trivia. You know what movie made Paul Giamatti a big star? He'd been around for a while, but there's one movie that made him kind of skyrocket. It's the most movie you would not expect to make them someone
No
star.
idea.
I His Private Parts.
Really?
Because he played Pig Virus. And he became, nobody knew who he was when he got hired for that movie. And after that movie, he was, and he's so good in that movie too. Private Parts is a genius film.
All right.
Anyway, moving on.
All right, moving on. Tell me.
Oh, is that for me?
We're over to you, sir.
All right. So this week, coming up on the Blu-ray and the div, we have the 35th anniversary limited edition Steelbook 4K Ultra edition of Transformers the movie, coming out from Shout Factory.
Shout!
There's the movie Seance that we talked about earlier. A movie that I really want to watch, which is just a surprising pairing. It's a movie called Here Today, starring Billy Crystal and Tiffany Haddish, which is just like, what?
Okay. They're both funny, so it'll probably work.
The Angelina Jolie fire jumper movie, Those Who Wish Me Dead, that we talked about, is hitting the Blu-rays and DVDs. Also, there's a movie called Take Back that I missed on streaming. They sent me a link, and I wasn't able to watch it. But I really want to check it out, although I think it's going to probably be a cheesy flick. But it's an interesting twist because it's a Michael Jai White film, which, normally that makes me all the way in.
Yeah.
But it's actually Michael Jai White, Mickey Rourke, and somebody named Gillian White, who is actually the star of the movie, which is Michael Jai White's real-life wife.
Oh, we've seen her in something else.
Yeah, she's been in a couple of stuff. She fought in Welcome to Sudden Death, which is a sequel to Sudden Death, which is another Van Damme movie. Michael Jai White took over the lead of that one. She plays like a bad guy security guard in that one.
Yeah,
this one, she's kind of
fighting in that.
This is her too, right here, if you don't know.
Yeah.
But she's also a martial artist. I believe she trained under Michael Janway. I don't know if she was a martial arts player. Anyway, I'm interested in this.
Because what does he do? Taekwondo?
If I'm not mistaken, he
else?
has black belts in like 5 different things.
Oh, well then never mind.
He's a
You go,
legit
boy.
thing. And do you know what one of his big first movies was? Not first movies, another one made him a big star.
It's the Spawn.
Well, yes. Spawn was okay. Let me rephrase it. Spawn and the Mike Tyson story he did were the 2 movies that where he was the star of the film that kind of made
That's
him
the only
bigger.
thing I know him from originally.
He has 2 movies that he made small cameos in. Well, one's a cameo, one's a main villain. That kind of one of his very first appearances was Ninja Turtles, the live-action Ninja Turtle movie. He plays one of the Foot Clan. But he was one of, if I remember correctly, he is one of the Universal Soldiers in the original Universal Soldier. I'll have to go back and make sure I'm thinking about the right one. Because he also plays the main bad guy Universal Soldier in Universal Soldier 2. Mm-hmm. He plays the robot variation, the computer that is downloaded into the new body of the Unisol that Van Damme's got to take down. So it was filmed at Superconductor in Waco.
Okay.
Moving on. Those are pretty much the big things coming out this week on Blu-ray and DVD.
All right. Coming out at the theater. Okay, coming out. So we got some random things. So coming out Tuesday on Netflix. It's a movie called Pray Away, and it's basically about the group that started the Pray Away the Gay Conversion Therapy group in the 70s. And it's interesting, it chronicles them, and then at the end, how they realize it probably did a lot more harm than good. But
they don't.
then also coming out, so that was Tuesday on Netflix. Wednesday on Netflix, we have a movie called Beckett. And it's about this person, Beckett, who's a tourist. They're in Greece. They're in an accident, but suddenly they're in the middle of political conspiracy. Yes. But it has Alicia Vikander, who's the Ex Machina girl.
Tomb Raider.
So it might be interesting for some people. You might like it. Coming out Friday, so at the theater nationwide, a movie called 645. So basically, what if you were forced to relive your worst nightmare every day? Don't know who's in this. Checking right now. No, anybody I know, but it seems kind of like a horror thriller. 645. You wake up every day and the same thing happens. The big one for the week, possibly for some of you, I have a different one that I think is going to be my big one for the week. This for sure is your big one. Suicide Squad?
No. The Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad.
Because the original was called Suicide Squad.
Sorry, this is the second one.
This is not a sequel to that, just FYI. It's more of a reboot, kind of standalone variation, even though it's got some of the same people returning.
This new movie, it says a reboot of sorts.
Yes.
Coming to HBO Max.
And theaters.
And theaters. Okay, this is the one I'm kind of looking for. It's on Netflix. It's called Vivo. And it's
I just watched the trailer for that last night.
It's about some
Have you
cute
seen the trailer
little bear. No.
I was going to come get you to look at the trailer, and I was like, eh.
It looks like a cute little bear.
Is that the Netflix one? I'll show it to you.
In Miami who sings. It's Zoe Saldana.
Is it a bear?
I
thought it was a monkey.
It's a rainforest honey bear. I don't know.
I think that's a monkey of sorts.
I don't know. We'll find out a bear monkey.
Well, I've seen the trailer.
But
that's why I thought it was a monkey.
It's a cute little bear.
Monkey. Wait till you see the trailer. It's not
okay. It sounds cute though.
Yeah.
Anyways, limited. Coming to Prime Video.
I thought that was this week. I was going to watch it.
We've been waiting to watch this. I'm interested, and I think it's going to be an interesting watch, maybe a little bit sad at times, but it's a movie called Val, and it's a little documentary about Val Kilmer.
And apparently...
He's telling the story.
Well, apparently he spent his entire career videotaping everything.
So it's kind of like when...
Punky Brewster.
It's the
same
did.
kind of
same
thing.
He's videotaped his entire life. It says he's amassed thousands of hours of footage of home movies. And so throughout this, you're going to see some familiar faces, him behind the scenes on several of his movies. And it says it's a heartfelt, sometimes hilarious documentary, what it means to be an artist and a man. And if you don't know, he has suffered from
Some kind of throat
throat
cancer
cancer.
or something. Yeah.
So the film, I believe, is actually narrated on his behalf. Like he wrote.
Yeah, because I don't think he can speak
He
anymore.
can't speak clearly.
Which we saw him in that movie. Was it The Iceman or something that he showed up and
he didn't look too well.
It was. I mean, it was great seeing him there, and I think he even might have a small part in the new Top Gun movie.
Okay.
But it's still sad.
Alvin Alley. Movie about Allie. It's expanded release. It may be near you. Don't even know. It's a biography.
There's a bunch of other crap coming out.
Limited. There's a bunch of things in limited release, which I won't mention because it may not even be near you, but that's kind of the big stuff this week.
All right, so on the contest, we don't have a lot of new contests added, but I do have some stuff popping up. Did you even do that part?
I did.
Okay.
I have it right.
Really quickly, I still have some extra copies of some of the same stuff, so I've left them up. There's a couple, actually, that people haven't even entered, so I don't know if it's people either didn't see them or they just don't care about the movies, but we still got a couple of copies left of Space Jam on 4K, the original, The House Next Door, Meet the Blacks 2. That one's going to still go for a while because I also keep these up until the movie actually comes out because sometimes I have to wait for the studio to send them to me that long. So like that one's not even out yet, so I haven't got it. Wrath of Man is one that they ended up sending me extras. The Dead Zone, the Stephen King movie from Shout Factory.
Shout!
We still got one of those. The Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory 4K, and of course Mortal Kombat 4K. A lot of these are going to end this week. There's a new one called something Raid I have in there that's going to be put up a new one.
It is sad about Val. We are sad about it.
It is. It's a bummer, but it is what it is. I'm glad there's a documentary about him because
Yeah.
he's had a very interesting career, I think, and he's done some great stuff. Because like I remember my first Tim seeing. Did you ever see Real Genius?
No.
It's a
I know
very.
it. I mean, I know of it, but I've never seen
Real
it.
Genius is one of my favorite.
To me, all I know is kick the tires and lock fires or whatever. Whatever the flying
Top
the
Gun?
plane, Top Gun. Who knows?
Well, I think he's supposed to be in the new Top Gun movie.
I don't know
wait for that to
anything.
come out, Maverick.
Maverick. Whatever. Top Gun.
And then, of course, Top Secret is a great movie he did too, which is a very Naked Gun airplanes parody.
Oh.
But if you haven't watched World Genius, we need to find it because I think
Okay.
you'll like it. That's like it's kind of like Van Wilder in college, but instead, I mean, Van Wilder's in college. It's kind of a Van Wilder thing, but with kids in science.
Oh.
And he's like this super genius guy, but he always gets in trouble. And there's a whole thing with him putting popcorn in a house. And
Oh my gosh.
I love Real Genius. I've watched it billions of times. It's a young, virile Val
I
Kilmer.
just remember me some Top Gun.
And then, of course, he played Jim Morrison in The Doors, which I've never watched.
I want to watch
So maybe I
that.
need to watch. I've watched part of it, but I hate The Doors. so
I
it's hard
liked
to-
some of their stuff. I mean, obviously, I don't know that we were. Again, I don't think we were the primary audience.
Not at the time when it came out.
Yeah, so
Anyway.
you know. Okay, that's it. That's all I got.
That's
That's all I got going on.
All right, kids.
The professor that
Um,
lives in the closet was also funny. Oh, we'll have to check it out.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yes. He come out and be like,
Okay. I don't know anything. I know nothing about
Gee,
Bill
I'm-
Kilmer.
I can always know that say was so awesome. Say I know my buddy Patrick because he watches a lot of the old school stuff like
See, I must have missed all of Bill Kilmer.
that.
How did that happen?
I haven't done this one, but I'm going to try to start
Let me
doing
see.
this really quick.
Let
We
me see
post
what
on
I
our
know.
website at.
HollywoodMatrimony.com.
I'm going to throw out just a couple of new updates. You can go check them out on the website.
Go look.
There's obviously a new trailer if you haven't checked it out for Ghostbusters Afterlife. There's a new featurette for Shang-Chi and Legend of the Ten Rings. There was obviously some of these are a couple of weeks ago, like the new trailer for Dune, the new posters and trailer for Jackass Forever. There's a movie called The Last Duel that reteams Ben Affleck and Matt Damon.
Matt Damon.
That's right. Also, they've announced Black Widow on Blu-ray and DVD, The Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard, the Underworld 5-movie limited edition 4K collection. And
You
what
know
I'm
all about
excited-
vampires.
What I'm excited for is they're also releasing Smallville, the complete series on
Oh,
Blu-ray,
wow.
all 10 seasons.
Whatever happened to that girl? Did she go to jail or get house arrest?
I think she's going to jail.
Yikes.
Allison Mack,
Poor little
which
girl.
made me sad because I was such a user of Allison Mack. I always liked Chloe,
You thought
I
she was so
hated-
cute.
and I hated Kristen Crook.
I know.
I hated Lana in that show, but I always thought Chloe was.
She was good in that.
Chloe was the bee's knees.
She was good in the Beauty and the Beast TV show.
So here's where I should go. Kristen Crook went on and has had numerous shows to do.
Mhm.
Allison Mack was running a sex cult and might be going to prison. Sam Jones III, who played Pete, he did a sex tape.
Oh,
and hasn't done a lot of stuff. You got Jensen Ackles, who was in the first couple of seasons. He went on to Supernatural. Yeah. Justin Hartley, who was the original, I think he was going to be Aquaman, ended up being Green Arrow. Now he's on This Is Us or whatever that show is. Erica Durance came in as Lois Lane. She went off to do a few things. Tom Welling disappeared.
Yeah, what is Tom Welling doing?
I think Tom Welling is just enjoying life.
Is he just living his life? You gotta live your life.
He came back for the, well, I'm going to spoil it.
I'm not going to watch it. That big crossover.
We need to just go watch the crossover, so you can just.
But I've never watched all the other shows.
It doesn't matter; they're not that complicated.
Okay.
I'm not even gonna say it now because there's something that you're gonna go. Oh. So anyway, but yeah, I like Tom Welling. He shows up on Michael Rosenbaum's podcast a lot. So.
Okay. He
played Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that was just a few, and I'll talk about others later on.
All right. Well, there you go. All right. Thanks so much for watching this week's episode of Hollywood Matrimony Live on Facebook and YouTube. Don't forget to go find us on the Instagram and the Twitter. And, of course, check out the website, HollywoodMatrimony.com. Don't forget to click the contest button. That's where all the free stuff is. Oh, they can see your hanger now. No wire hangers.
I love that our Jason, right? You can't fully see everything, I'm sure, or at least make it out. So you have Jason, right, who's a menacing killer with his machete and blood and everything else. And then he's got a Harry Potter wand. He's got a wire hanger from Joan Crawford. And he's wearing an Uncle Grandpa beanie cap with a propeller on it.
Well, he's got a lot going on there.
All while standing next to a Coco poster.
That's okay.
And Star Trek poster. Anyway, go ahead.
All right. Thanks so much for watching. We will see you next week.
Peace out, kids.